Good morning, everyone. Lexus just redesigned their flagship LS last year, but now it's time for their mainstream sedan to take its turn. The ES has long been the best-selling Lexus sedan, so for the all-new 7th generation, they are both upping the luxury factor to appeal to current customers and the style factor to attract new younger buyers. Special thanks to our friends at Lexus of Lexington for providing this ES 350 in Caviar. And if you're in the market for any new Lexus, be sure to stop by or visit their website, which we provided a link to in the video description. So with that said, let's go ahead and see if this is an LS Junior. So starting out here with the exterior styling, you can tell right away that the ES and LS have more in common than they do different. Both have front ends dominated by the aggressive Lexus spindle grille. However, the inside design is different, with simpler vertical bars instead of the elaborate webbed look on the LS. Compared to last year, this is already a bolder look. However, for the first time, the ES is now available as an F Sport, which has an even more aggressive black mesh grille outlined in dark chrome. Turning to the headlights, they have the newest Lexus look, with everything in one single piece, but with jagged edges. The lights themselves are fully LED on all trims, but you can option on fancier looking triple beam LED lights if you prefer. Finally, no matter what trim you're looking at, fog lights have been eliminated from the ES entirely. The differences from the outgoing model grow even larger when you get to the side. Not only does the new TNGA platform both lower and elongate the ES, but there are now numerous body lines compared to the slab-sidedness of the old model. And the same story plays out in the back, where the ES now has a planted and athletic stance that is totally distinct from all the other Lexus sedans. There is a chrome strip that goes across the full length of the back, and underneath it are really slender LED taillights with the newest 3D design. Additionally, all models come with large trapezoidal exhaust outlets, and the F Sport would also get a spoiler and darkened chrome to spice things up further. Overall, this is easily the most dynamically styled ES ever, but beyond that, it is now also one of the most eye-catching offerings in the entire class. Another important part of the upgraded looks are vastly improved wheel options. The bland matte silver wheels of the old model have been thrown out in favor of contrast alloys across the board. What we have are the optional 18-inch 10-spoke wheels in place of the standard 17s, while the F Sport instead comes with the largest wheels at 19 inches. And moving on to the mirrors, they also have a unique design where the top is always black no matter what the exterior color, though of course you can't tell that on this model. As far as the actual technology, all models have heating and auto dimming, as well as the option of adding blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic alert. While on the topic of safety, the ES is the first Lexus to come standard with the upgraded Lexus Safety Suite 2.0. That means in addition to all the usual stuff, you now get adaptive cruise control that works all the way to a stop, bicyclist and low-light pedestrian detection, a system that reads road signs, and a lane tracing assist that centers you in your lane. These are systems that German rivals often charge several $1,000s extra for, and they're standard on every ES. Finally, we'll wrap things up with the fuel range. All models have 15.9 gallon tanks, so on our model that's good for 413 miles of range. Ironically, that is exactly the same as last year, though this model does have a smaller fuel tank. Well, that pretty much concludes the big changes on the outside, so now let's see if Lexus has changed as much in the cabin. So as you would expect, the ES does come standard with Lexus Smart Entry, and you do have their newest key fob design with real metal trim along the side. You will also have remote startability through the Enform app, free for 1 year. Now to get inside the vehicle, there is a sensor behind the door handle, so you just grab it. So first, looking inside the all-new ES 350, as you can tell, the old design is completely gone, and in its place you've got a very LS-inspired look. Now, as far as your interior color schemes, there are an absolute ton. This is obviously the black interior, but regular models can also choose between Chateau and Flaxen colors. Additionally, on F Sport, you get the choice between black or even a circuit red color. Your materials do also change depending on the trim. So on the base, premium, and F Sport, you get New Lux synthetic leather. On the luxury, you get real leather, and on the ultra luxury, you get semi-aniline leather. Paired with that on most trims is your choice between linear mocha, linear espresso, or matte bamboo wood trims, though the F Sport does get Hidori aluminum. Now turning to the door trim, it does have a lot of LS inspiration. So you have leather across all of the armrest and this area above it. All the rest of the materials are soft touch plastic with a nice stitching. And you will find the door handle straight off the LS, which is fully aluminum, has a very unique look. On premium trims and up, you have 3-person memory seats, and all 4 of your windows are fully automatic across all trims. Now coming to the seats, these are 10-way power adjusting like on most ES's, although the Ultra Luxury does have a 14-way seat instead. And then, like I mentioned, this is your New Lux synthetic leather. However, I do want to point out that Lexus makes some of the best faux leather in the industry, so you really can't tell the difference. So first, looking around the cabin, you really won't recognize anything from the outgoing model, including the upgraded materials. So above the gauges and even inside of them, you do have a leather trim with some nice stitching. And then all the other upper parts of the dash are made of soft touch plastic with some more stitching. Now I also like this real piece of aluminum that travels through here. And then down at the bottom, you do have some more leatherette where your knee might touch with some contrast stitching. Of course, as you would expect, you do have push button ignition, so you just press the button to go. When you push it, you will notice either an 8-inch display or this 12.3-inch display fire up. Now this display does come with the navigation package. So as you can tell right off the bat, the gauges do get a big upgrade for 2019. Now this is the base setup, which is made of a 7-inch LCD display with the physical gauges around it. Or you have an 8-inch display that comes on the F Sport, and that one slides, which is really neat. Now this does work mostly the same as last year. So you can scroll through all of your different options, your safety systems, navigation, and whatnot over here. But the difference is that now when you change your drive modes, the design changes. So that's your sport mode, and then this is your eco mode. Additionally, you would have the option of a 10.2-inch head-up display. That is optional on all models. We don't have it. Now coming back to the steering, it is electric rack and pinion. And I really like this steering wheel. It has a real thick rim. You also have your contrast stitching. We have the optional wood and heating. And I like that the wood is only on the front side, so you still have the leather on the back to grab a hold of. Now as far as your buttons, they're pretty much laid out like on the LS. So you've got your multi-function display, phone, and voice controls. And then on this side, you've got your standard adaptive cruise controls and your safety systems. Back behind the wheel, you do have standard paddle shifters, and on the premium and up, you will also find rain sensing wipers. As far as the wheel itself, it is power adjusting on the premium and up. Now moving on to storage, the ES has about as much as its big brother, LS. So starting out here with your center console, it does have the same trick as the LS, which is opening from both sides, so that's pretty neat. And then once you open it up, it is very deep, belt lined across all of it, and you do have a 12-volt outlet inside. Up in front of that, you've got a cup holder, and it also has a trick up its sleeve. You just press this button, and that falls out to make it a little shallower. And then your other cup holder is located up here, as well as a little area to stand up your phone, and then your traditional 2 USB ports and an aux jack. Now coming back to the shifter, it has a really lovely design. Really thick, feels good in the hand, and then all of this is made of real aluminum. Of course, it is just a traditional shifter, so you pull back to drive, and then press to the left for manual shifting, either here or via those paddle shifters. When we go into reverse, of course, all models do get a standard backup camera with active trajectory. And new for 2019, you now have a 360-degree bird's eye camera available as an option across all trims. If you did choose that, it would take up the entire screen. And you may have been able to hear that. That was the automatic electronic parking brake. And we do also have a brake hold feature located behind the shifter. Now, as far as the other stuff over here on the console, this is your new remote touch controller. It's now the touchpad instead of the previous joystick, but we'll get into that a little later in the video. Now moving on up, you will still find your traditional CD player, which is something that's been eliminated from a lot of rivals. And then above that, you've got all your controls for your seats and steering wheel. Now on the premium and up, you will find 3-stage heated and ventilated seats, all automatic. And then we do also have the standalone option of a heated steering wheel, and that is 2 stages. To go along with that, here are your actual climate controls. They are dual zone automatic across all trims. So this is basically straight off of the LS. So you've got your nice toggle here to control the temperature, and it really has a nice animation as well. And then you've got all your buttons nicely laid out here, so you don't have to do anything inside of the display. Additionally, you do have some handy shortcut buttons for the audio, and we'll go ahead and take a sample of the 10-speaker premium audio system that comes standard across all trims. Overall, it has a very well-balanced sound system. And now that brings us to the Enform system, so let's go ahead and take a quick look at this newest version. So like I already mentioned, you do now have the trackpad instead of the joystick controller. However, it really doesn't change the way that the Enform system works. So here on this model, we have the 12.3-inch display, which gives us lots of real estate to work with. So we can put 2 things up at the same time. So for example, right now we have the navigation map, and then on the second panel here, you can change this stuff out to be your audio controls, navigation, different fuel economy, and even your climate settings. If you don't want this, you can press this button, and that will collapse it, so now you can have full screen apps like your full screen navigation. So this is the new dynamic navigation system, and it does work mostly the same. And on the trackpad, you do have pinch to zoom functionality, so you can zoom in and out. Now, one change from the version of Enform you find on the old ES is that when you press the menu button, the menu pops up over top of whatever you have instead of taking you to a separate screen. So you can quickly go into stuff, and if you hover over it, you can swipe up and go specifically into a certain category like Bluetooth. So here we are in our Bluetooth audio, where you can play and pause songs straight from here. You also notice the little animation that hovers over top of where you're at. Next up, we have the phone. So you'll start out with a list of your contacts. You can swipe down through the list by making a long swipe on the pad, or you can scroll over and hit the arrow like you could before. You also have the same Enform apps that you're used to, and they would show up if I had the Enform app pulled up on my phone. But more importantly, we now have this button called Projection. This is where Apple CarPlay will now appear when you plug in your iPhone. I can't show you this because I've got an Android, but this is a big deal because it's the first Lexus to be available on. And like I said, you don't have to, but you can adjust the climate up here if for some reason you want to. That pretty much does it for the main features of the Enform system, but we do have a detailed tech help video coming soon if you want to check that out. A link to that will be provided in the video description. Moving on up from the screen, our model's navigation package includes this auto-dimming mirror with your HomeLink universal remotes built into the bottom of it. And up top you've got your touch-sensitive lighting, as well as your SLS button, which is free for 10 years now. Additionally, all models of the ES do come with a standard power moonroof. This is just your regular sized unit, and there is an optional panoramic one which comes via your ultra luxury package. So overall, this is a great improvement for the ES. You're basically getting 90% of what you get on the LS, but at a much more affordable price. So overall, great job, Lexus. Now I'll go ahead and show off the rest of the vehicle. You do have smart entry on all 4 doors, by the way. So looking into the back of the all-new ES350, you'll find 39.2 inches of legroom and 37.8 inches of headroom. Those measures do exceed both the E-Class Mercedes and the Lincoln MKZ. As far as your door trim, materials do follow through from the front. So you've got leather all over the armrest, and then all of this area is all leather, and interestingly, you actually have more stitching back here than you do in the front. And then you've got some more of that nice wood as well. Of course, your window is one-touch auto up and down, and you've got the same really nice aluminum door handle. As far as the seats, they are extremely comfortable, and I like the perforated leather. So back here you do have plenty of amenities. You've got your standard rear air vents, and you'll also find a 12-volt outlet and 2 higher powered charging USB ports. Interestingly though, you will not find heated rear seats in the ES, even though they are available in the Avalon. But anyways, as far as your rear legroom, it is extremely generous. This is behind my 5'8" driving position. As you can see, I've got like 2 feet of space. Plenty of foot space as well. And this is really just a tad bit smaller than what you get on the flagship LS. Now on the other side, I've got the seat all the way back, and I've still got a foot of space. So this is definitely more than you'll find in some of the rivals, especially if you're cross-shopping at this price point. As far as other things to mention, you would have a power sunshade if you got the ultra luxury package back there, and then you would have manual sunshades on the side windows. However, all models do get this fold down center armrest with 2 cup holders. And there is a pass through to the trunk. Up top, you've got your LED lighting, and you do have an assist grip. But overall, it's extremely impressive back here. You've got all the space and all the luxury of things that cost a lot more. So coming around here to the trunk, most models will just come with the standard release, which is located over here on the right hand side. but the ultra luxury model will come with a power trunk. But looking inside, you will find 16.9 cubic feet of space, which is significantly more than both the Mercedes E-Class or Lincoln MKZ. As you can tell, it's massive. You do have a pass-through, but the seats do not fold. And Lexus also includes this cargo net. Over here on the passenger side, you do still have the same 10-way power adjusting seat with 2-way lumbar and these piano black knobs. Of course, like I already mentioned, materials are very nice in front of the passenger, all soft touch plastic, and then you do have a leather trimming over top of the glove box. Once you open it up, it is reasonably sized. Coming on up, of course, you've got your standard sun visor with light and mirror. It does not slide over here on the passenger side, but it does extend on the driver's side. Well, that pretty much does it for the cabin of the ES350. So let's go ahead and talk about the powertrain. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about the powertrains real fast. Nothing too complicated, it's very similar to last year. So you start off with a 3.5 liter V6 naturally aspirated, and it now makes 302 horsepower and 267 pound-feet of torque, which is up 34 horsepower from last year. In addition to that, you also have a hybrid model which is available, and that uses a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder plus the battery and electric motor, and that produces 215 total system horsepower. Depending on which one you choose, you either get an 8-speed automatic transmission with a gas power plant or a CVT with your hybrid. And then no matter what, it is front wheel drive only. Now, complete fuel economy figures are not yet available, however this one is rated for 26 combined. Well guys, we hope you enjoyed this in-depth look at the all-new 2019 Lexus ES 350. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you liked what you saw, and don't forget to join us again as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.